Much for coming along this morning. For those who don't know me, my name is Mark Webb. I'm the Acting Director General of the Department of Agriculture and Food, and it's my pleasure to be here today with DAFWA staff and to recognise this great synergy between DAFWA as an organisation with its research, its innovation, but the commercial acumen of Seedforce with Dale and David. It's my great pleasure to welcome the Minister, the Honourable Nalder, MLA, Minister for Agriculture, who's come along today. Thank you very much, Minister, for coming along. And the Minister is going to actually announce the names of these 6 new pasture varieties, which again is a great example of the new synergy, I think, Minister, between agriculture and industry. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. Morning, everybody. Look, I have the pleasure today of announcing 6 new pasture types for Western Australia. This has been a 5-year partnership program between the Department of Agriculture with Seedforce. It's for obviously the livestock industry. The livestock industry represents a $1.8 billion industry for Western Australia. And with these new varieties, what we've been able to identify is that these new varieties will increase productivity across livestock of around $10 to $18 a hectare. And for the additional nitrogen in the soil, around $12 to $18 per hectare. So we see this, the innovation, science, research, innovation into new pastures as a critical component of improving productivity of our farming areas. So I'd like to actually acknowledge all those that have been involved in the development of these new varieties. And I have the pleasure today of just announcing them and mentioning a couple of things about them. The first one, well, the first two, we've got Tammin and Forbes. These have greater resistance to red-legged earth mites, something as a kid that I grew up we were always looking for. The damage that redlegs cause the industry across Western Australia is estimated to be around $100 million a year. This is a hard-seeded variety, which means they're better suited to crop rotations than current varieties. And they're also suited to medium to low rainfall areas, which is really around that 300 to 450 millimetre area, rainfall area. The second 2 varieties are Yanko and Rouse, and they're highly productive white seeded types, which have the characteristics of waterlogging resistance and improved resistance to important diseases. So it's more suited to the high rainfall areas. So in that 450 to 700 millimetre rainfall area. And then we have Tali and Chilo. These are suited to neutral to alkaline cracking soils, more commonly found in eastern Australia, and it's developed as part of the national program. So that's the 6 varieties that we're launching today, and I'd like to also present certificates to the plant breeders themselves. I believe I have that. So the first one to Dr. Philip Nichols. Congratulations and thank you very much for your efforts. And also to Technical Officer Brad Wintle, the Technical Officer from the Pasture Breeding and Agronomy section. Thank you very much. All right, just congratulations again to the breeders and the technical staff behind the efforts to bring these new pastures for the people of Western Australia and also for the national program. And I'd like to now hand over to David Lee, the Broadacre Development Manager from Seedforce, to give a few more technical comments to these varieties. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you. I'd just like to thank the Minister, Minister Nalder, Director General of DAFWA, senior staff of DAFWA and members of the farming community. We'd just like to take this opportunity to thank everyone, and this joint venture has been seen the important launch of 6 new clover varieties in conjunction with Department of Agriculture and Food Western Australia. The 5-year joint venture has seen an outstanding joint public and private investment to develop improved pasture genetics to benefit Australian and overseas livestock and grain producers. Seedforce has been able to bring market knowledge and international reach and financial commitment and joined that with the unrivaled and dedicated sub-clover breeding capacity within DAFWA to achieve outcomes that neither could have achieved alone within the given time frame. The 6 new varieties from the program that will be completed have seen over $700,000 investment from Seed Force over the 6 years. And it's certainly fast-tracked the project compared to relying on industry grants alone. We've been able to work with a fantastic team led by Senior Plant Breeder Dr. Phil Nichols and Technician Brad Wintle, covering sites across Australia. So like, as the Minister said, these varieties will cover all over Australia and overseas. The varieties launched today are at varying stages of multiplication for availability to the farming community. We usually are given approximately 5 to 10 kilos of seed from Phil and Brad, and then within 2 years we'll have 15 to 20 tonne of one of these varieties available for sale. And then the following year we will have possibility of unlimited production. So the varieties Rouse and Tammin are commercial for have been in commercial production for 2016, and we'll have approximately 20 tonne of each line expected to be harvested this summer, ready for the 2017 season. The variety Rouse is already in a sold out position. This is due to the high interest from the agronomists. Predominantly this variety is suited more for the eastern states, but it has performed exceptionally well in those environments. We expect to have Tammin in a similar position by the autumn of next year, following today's launch. The variety Yanko is expected to be available in limited quantities in 2018, followed by Tarlee in 2019 and Antillo in 2020. Thus, within 5 years, all 6 varieties will be in full supply to the market. So, in conclusion, I'd like to thank DAFWA for choosing Seed Force as its partner and giving us the opportunity to work with your team to achieve these significant outcomes. Our task now is to highlight the productivity gains to both the farming and advisory sectors to ensure that the gains are realised on Australian farms as the seed from each of these varieties becomes available.
Thanks, David. If you would like to catch up with either Phil or Brad, feel free to come forward and do so. I think the Minister's hanging around for a few more minutes. So thank you very much for coming on today. Much appreciated.